How do you get full help for your family members and friends with mental illness? How do you get full help for your family members and friends with mental illness? The reason why I say full help, because here in Grand Bahama, we do not have full help for our family members and friends with those issues. Now, mental illness is a thing, it's an illness where you have a lot of people don't like to talk about and don't like to touch on the subject, or it's a shame that their families or they know somebody that has mental illness. There's nothing to be ashamed of, you know. I learned that the hard way as a child, growing up with mental illness in my family. I never discovered my own mother had mental illness until I was the age of 15. I never understood why my grandmother took me when I was a baby. My mother never got me back until I was the age of 8. At that time, I still didn't even recognize that she had mental illness because nobody took the time to sit me down and explain to me what was going on with my mother. Matter of fact, I didn't even know she was my mother. So as I go along, and when that happened, and she first had her first episode around me, I was just at the age of 15. I was a young mother. I was a mother at the age of 14 with my oldest child. And you can imagine a 14-year-old finding out that her mother has this issue and didn't even know what to do or where to go to get the help for her. When she first started out, she just took off everything inside of the house and just went outside naked. Then she started to talk to herself, and then she started to see things that weren't there. And I was like, Mommy, what's going on? I don't see what you're seeing. You know, I had to take her and I had to fly her to Nassau at the tender age of 15, fly her to Nassau to get some help from her mother, who knew what the problem was, what was going on with her. And then they took her and they put her in silence. Now, as a child, I still didn't even understand the full extent of what mental illness is. As I get to learn what was going on and start to have my family, it was really tough as a young adult dealing with that, because we weren't taught that in school. You have this as a secret that nobody wants to talk about. Because if they have family members, I know some of you out there that is going through the same things that I am going through. Don't think that because I'm an adult now that it's stopped. It's not stopped. It still is going on, because if you have family members who are not taking their medication and they have an episode, and when that episode starts and they go out there, I know the episodes with my mom, I know always when she's starting, because when she's starting, she goes out there and she talks terrible things about her children. Oh, they don't feed me, they never did nothing for me, and all the hurtful things you could ever imagine a mother could say about a child, she would say. So, and then you can imagine me meeting that person out there saying, well, how is your mother doing? I know when they asked me the question, how my mother doing, I know they had some sort of contact with my mother and she didn't have anything nice to say about me, because I know she's in her episode where she don't want to take her medication and so forth. She feels as if you're the enemy. She feels as if you're trying to kill her because you're trying to get her the help. But here in Freeport, you could try to get your family members as much help as you need to get them. But we don't have the facility to facilitate these persons who are out there on the street and who is walking the street and who needs the help. Okay? We only have a small little dire ward that can't hold much people. It only can hold a certain amount of people for a short period of time, and then they have to fly them out to New Providence to get help to the bigger Sandlands. But what if the biggest islands that they have there is for the whole islands, all 700 of the islands, the ones that are inhabited, and there's no space to put the rest? So what that does is that leaves your family member and your friends walking the street. The medication that they're giving them, they don't want to take the medication because you need help. Where do you go when you need help with that family member and friend? The only thing you can do from what you know is to call the police and then call the ambulance to come and get them. Then when you call the police and the ambulance come and get them and you take them at the Rand Memorial Hospital, they only keep them there for a short period of time and they let them back out. Why? Because there's no space in the facility that they have here to house the mental patient in Freeport, Grand Bahama. We need help. We really do need help with that. I don't see why Freeport been around for, we're the second city in the Bahamas. We've been around for a very long time. We need a facility here in Freeport that can house our mental families and friends, because there's somebody loved one. We love our family. Not because you see our family walking the street or you see them laying down on the side of the road and so forth. It's because we did all we could. And we don't have the help. We go to the doctors and the doctor's saying you have to take them to the court. And when you go to the court system, the court's saying that the Sunlands that is over there, the facility to house these people that is over there is full. And there's nothing that they could do. The only thing they could do right now is take them and send them to jail. But how could you put a mental patient in jail if the officers that are there is not trained to take care of these mental patients? Now it makes their jobs a little harder and so on, because the Sunlands is not available right now because they're full. But other mental patients, you have mental patients every day, a new one every day. And what's going on in the society right now, I see that it's going to be many more, because you have persons who don't know how to speak, meaning that things are going on with them and they don't want to talk it, or they shame, or they talk it to somebody else and somebody told them that don't say that no more. Nobody need to know this. Not getting the proper help. We don't have the proper help. Even psychiatrists. I've never been to a psychiatrist here on the island. I don't know how many of them are here, but I don't know how many of them that are in the government system to help facilitate these people when they need the help and they need somebody to talk to. Because not everybody wants to talk to a family member or a friend. They rather talk to somebody else who don't know them. So where do you go and who do you talk to if you have these things and you're hearing voices inside of your head? Okay? Now, family member, you can detect when your family member or friend is going out of their head. You know, you can detect it because you see that the movements are totally different than it used to be. You see the places that they go in, the way that they dress, the things that they would say, and so on. And that's a little sign right there. And you can get them while it's in the early stage, try to get them some help. But then again, where could you get the help? Do we have the help? I know that is one of my dreams, that we're able to have the help here in Freeport that we need to facilitate these persons who are sick. Okay? Yes, they have a chemical imbalance in their brains. And once that chemical imbalance is off and so forth, they need to stay on their medication for life. But what if those persons don't have no children, or don't have the family, or don't have the friend who is following up with them to make sure that they take care of themselves and they take their medication? We don't have no place to house them to get that type of help so that they can really start the medication and be able to facilitate and give themselves the medication when it's needed, so that they'll be able to function on different jobs that are out there to help themselves. Because once they come out of Sunlands, they don't have no place to live. They have absolutely nowhere to live. Now, if we had one here, at least we would have had a program in there to help them to get back out there on the street, or to get back out there on a job, or to be able to have an apartment, or to be able to take care of their children, or to be able to take care of themselves. The solution is in us, you know. Remember, I keep saying, let's help one another. And how could we help one another? We can help one another by coming together. Not just the educated ones has solutions, you know. You have solution right there from the little small people. The little small people has all the solution, because they are the ones that are going through these issues with these family members and friends. Okay? So let's start off by, one of my solutions would be to have persons them come in together. We can do this together. If it's a sponsor, if it's an organization that wants to do something good, that something good is we need a mental health facility here in Freeport, Grand Bahamas, so it can take the load of the mental facility in New Providence. We need our own, okay? And with having our own, we'll have different programs that are in there to help these people get back on their foot so that they'll be able to take care of themselves. I'm not saying that a mental patient can't take care of themselves. You know, you have so many intelligent mental people that are out there who are movie stars and who are doing big things. Why? Because they have the people who behind them and they live in areas that they have help and they have good medication, not experimental medication. You have good medication that you can give these people so that they can get their full health back and they're able to function in society, okay? Because what happens is when you have these patients, and these patients have children, who now is looking after the children if nobody knows that this patient is a mental patient? What happens to the children? I was once that child. My mother had 8 of us, and I was the oldest. So that means I became a mother from my siblings them at the age of 8, trying to protect them, trying to keep them off of the street, looking for food to feed them. Because sometimes she would go missing and she would go missing for months and I didn't know where my mother was. And as a little girl growing up in West End, persons thought that, okay, my mother abandoned me. No, she didn't abandon us. She just had one of her episodes where she went missing. At that time, remember I told you I didn't discover she had a mental illness until I was the age of between 14, 15 years old. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was I had that motherly instinct that my siblings them needed food to eat. And I went around and I went to those boats which used to come in and dock and sell their fish, and I would wait till they sell their fish. And then I would ask those persons, can you give me some fish to feed my siblings them? And they would always have the turbots left over. And they give me the turbot. I didn't even know how to cook the turbot. All I did was I caught a fire outside. I was smart enough to know how to catch a fire at the age of 8. Catch the fire outside. And I took the fish and I just throw the whole fish in the fire. I didn't know how to clean no fish. I didn't know how to take out no guts and so forth. I throw it inside of the fire, and then when it swelled up, I knew that it was time to eat, because when it swelled up, it burst. And that was the time that I was able to peel off the skin and feed my siblings. And then the next day, then I learned how to cook rice. I put the pot on the stove. I didn't put no water, and I just put the rice inside there. It ended up burning up. Then somebody said, no, you need to put water. Then another time when I tried it, they said, no, you need to put salt. Then somebody else told me, no, you need to add a little oil. And that's how I learned how to cook. That's why when I had my family at an early age, I knew how to take care of them because I was already trained from taking care of my little siblings. So what help is there for those children? Not all the time social services find those children, you know. Social services is so rampant, so many things themselves. But that's where our children are being lost, because not everybody was strong enough or is strong enough like me to want to take care of their little siblings. And two, as a child, that's a lot of burden for a child. That's a lot of burden for a child to be able to become a mother or a parent taking care of their siblings where their mental parent cannot take care of and is missing for months. No food inside the house. They're scared to go and ask for help because they don't want the parent, they don't want to be taken away from their parents. I remember when social services came down in West End to take me and my siblings them away. But I was so smart, I told them that my mother went up to Freeport. She's do straw work. She went up to Freeport to get food for us. And she works up there and she leaves Choctaw Hotel, catch the Choctaw Hotel bus early in the morning around 6 o'clock and then go up to Freeport. And she doesn't come home until late in the evening. That's what she used to do when she's feeling well. Yes, she was working in the straw market. But that's the story that I use to tell the social services. They also ask, are you guys in school? No, I'd never been to school a day of my life during that time. I didn't even know how to read. I didn't know how to count. I didn't even know what day was my birthday. I didn't even know what day was Christmas. All of those things were passing by. And I didn't know because my focus was on my little siblings there. So, what do you do for those children? How can you help? When the children is trying to protect the parent, that's where we come in by being brothers and sisters and looking out for one another. Because as you look out for one another, you would see that there's something going on next door with that child next door, or you would have heard the children parents arguing with them, because when you have a mental patient, man, they will curse you out to the bone. They will call you all kind of names. You hear that, you know, because you live next door. You hear that. You know, you can get that child some help. Then you have the children, then they end up going out there being teen moms like myself, because I was looking for love. I was looking for the love that I wasn't getting at home. So it ended up having me to start my family at a very young age. So I needed that somebody to protect me, okay? So with having that somebody to protect me, I felt that everything was okay. You know, it was okay for me and my children, but was it okay for the rest of my siblings? I even lost a brother who was so affected by it, he didn't even know how to comprehend in this world. When he got out there, because he was so angry, because as mommy was in and out of silence and being missing, he was living and we was living, and he more ventured out onto the street, hanging out with the wrong company. You know, he was looking for love. What about when a male child is looking for love? You have females who are looking for love, with going through different stuff, and yes, they find a male, but what about the male who's looking for love and they don't find nobody? What do they find? Drugs. They end up on the street. They end up doing all kind of stupidness that causes them to lose their life in the end. And we don't want that. So guys, I don't know who's listening to this broadcast here today. If you're listening to this today, and there's somewhere that you can help us here in Freeport, Bahamas. We may have the people right here home, you know. We may have the people right here home with the monies who is not aware of the situation, because it's not happening into your family. It's happening in many families here, but they're ashamed to talk. I am one of those who is not ashamed. My shame went away from my first find out that my mother has a mental illness, and when it was explained to me what it really was, that's why nothing could come at me and hurt me the way that you guys would think it would hurt me, because I already been through it all. And like I say, as time go by, I am so filled with testimonies over testimonies over testimonies that this show will go on for life with the things that I have inside of me. So those of you who can help, get with the governments or get with whomever organization that can make this happen, so that we can build a facility here in Freeport, Bahamas, to house our mental patients. Also putting different psychiatrists in there so that they can have somebody to talk to. Also implementing different programs so that when they get out, that they'll be able to get the help that is needed. Okay? So those of you who are going through it right now and you're ashamed, you may even have it yourself, and you are ashamed to tell somebody about it, or you are ashamed to get help for it, don't be ashamed. It can happen to anybody. Things just don't choose to happen to only this person or that, but no, it can happen to anybody. It can happen to the best of us. You know, all we need is the help. All we need is somebody to talk to. If you need somebody to talk to, don't have no shame in it. Let it out. I always say, when you keep too much pressure in here and too much pressure, what it does, it bursts pipes. Okay? And when it bursts the pipe, that's the chemical in your brain is now unbalanced. And once it's unbalanced, then that's where you have the mental illness steps in and sneaks in and try to secretly just take over your life. No, you can work normal jobs with mental illness. You can raise family with mental illness. All we need is the proper help to get through what we're going through here in life. And where does it start? It starts with every last one of us. I know that we're just a nation of over 400,000 persons in the Bahamas, but the world is out there and the world is listening. So for those of you who has a bank account, that you have unlimited monies, and you would like to have a little project here in the Bahamas to help out the people in the Bahamas with mental illness, please let that next project be us here. We have a lot of property that is in Freeport that can build a nice facility that can house those patients and put and implement those different programs that are in there, and bring in the best psychiatrists to facilitate our family members, our loved ones, the people that we love. It's too many persons walking the street right now going out of their head. You know how it feels to be driving past your family member. You know what I mean? That hurts your heart. It really, really, really hurts. People may think, okay, they love this type of family. They family rich. They family got this kind of money. They family could do better by those persons. Don't you think the family help? The family has been helping all along. But now the family member feel as if they're losing it because they're not getting the help. They're calling for help and the help is not coming because the help is tired of coming to pick up the same patient. So just be good to one another. Like I always say, love one another. Help out as best as you can. Because a kind word could go a very long way. I love y'all. I speak about these things and I touch on these things because I love y'all. I love my Bahamian people. My Bahamian people are very, very unique people. We are very blessed here. All we have to do is critique some things, you know. I'm not saying we're going to be perfect out there in this world because there's no perfect world. Things are going to happen. But if we can deal with home first and can deal with some things here to make life a little better for society, let's come together and let's help one another. And that's all I'm asking from you. Let's help one another. And remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. And we will rejoice and be glad in it at all times. We're going to be glad in it in spite of what this week has in store for us. In spite of what next week has in store for us. We're here and we can do it again. What we didn't do yesterday, we can do today. And if it takes all those other days that are coming up to do these things, we're going to get it right. But nothing is but a failure but to try. As long as we try and we don't give up on ourselves. So y'all take care, enjoy your day, and know, I can keep saying it, I love you. So please subscribe to my channel today by pressing the red button. Also hit like, and you can leave a comment there for me. Thank you. Hi everyone, welcome to LaBelle's Beauty Salon. You've always wanted to know where Judy gets her hair done. No lie, I really didn't want to share them with nobody, real talk, because their atmosphere is a stress reliever. They make you feel as if you are their only client, no matter who you are. I've been going there for the past 15 years. You go in feeling depressed and you come out feeling like $1 million. Never once was I dissatisfied. They specialize in all hair types and texture. Hair coloring, relaxing, haircuts, extensions, blow dry, silk press, eyebrow waxing, makeup, and man's haircut. One stop to get it all done. Open every day, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Closed on Monday. So please come on down and make your appointment. You won't be disappointed. Thank you.